All right, we're live. Hello, what are you thinking there?
I was just looking at the brief.
Gotcha. Okay, so very quickly, we're live.
Hello.
Hello, world. Oh, are we in speaker view?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so we are coming in really fast on this entry. So we are just going to go live with the show right away. No pre-show, which is too bad. I actually had something I wanted to share, but we're not going to do that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, hello everybody out there. Let's start the show.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
Your shades, man. All right, we are live with COVID Marketing episode number 90, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive. Week daily at 11 Eastern Standard Time. So if you have questions on marketing and business or whatever, you let us know in the comments, wherever you find very, very, very fine folk are seeing this. I am Brent Kobayashi, president of Kobayashi Zeitgeist, and with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist at the KZED. The KZED.
And if you like what you see, share this with your friends, click subscribe, hit the bell, get notified so you never, ever, ever miss a show.
You can't ever miss a show.
Ever.
All right. So let's do this. Like, Arthur, what do you have? This is a Q&A smorgasbord day. So what do you have for us?
We are digging into the vault. We're going we're going several levels down here. So we got some great questions we want to dive into here. Mr. Richard Gouder asked, why would you use LinkedIn rather than a website blog?
Why LinkedIn rather than a website blog? So LinkedIn has the ability to publish articles and all of that sort of thing, similar to what you might do with a blog. So why would you use LinkedIn rather than, first of all, your website might not have blogging capability. That's one reason why you might use LinkedIn instead of a blog. Second of all, understand the difference between something you own and a marketplace. So something you own, like your website, is probably not a marketplace. It's an endpoint from which people have to get to you for. And there's a reason for blogging on your website, and we can get into that in a second. But LinkedIn's a marketplace. That's where the market is. That's the place where the market is. So when you publish an article and publish a post in LinkedIn, especially the article feature that they have, more people have an opportunity to see it just naturally, organically. In your network, they'll see it. So that's why you might use LinkedIn instead of a website blog.
The news feed.
Yeah, the news feed, like it's showing up. Also, people who are checking out your profile will see your activity. That's one of the things that happened in the last few years was LinkedIn started beefing up the ability to surface and connect people and become more of a social media network rather than a glorified resume place, right? And, you know, a little bit of networking place, but mostly who am I connected to and who can I find to get a job or hire somebody or that type of thing. So they've done a really good job with that. And so when you actually publish something on LinkedIn, it shows up on your resume, on your as your activity when people are looking directly at you. But at the same time, other people might get notifications, or people who are using LinkedIn as a social media platform will see your content much more readily. So that's the place, that's the market. And of course, you know what my answer really is.
What's the real answer, Brent?
The real answer is, well, you do both. Yeah, boom, psh, yeah, roll eyes, right?
Mic drop.
That's, you know, it's getting a lot easier to have mic drop moments now.
And then slap it on TikTok too.
That's it. Yes. Mic drop, slap it on TikTok, do the both of them. Wow. Whoa. Mind blown. Everybody's like, whoa, this guy's really got his stuff together. Anyways, so, but let's dig into that just a little bit. Okay. So there's more to that. People, when they come to your website and trying to check you out, who are you? The blog there allows them to, you'd have that one-on-one conversation and give them a little bit of a sense of, one, you're very active, you know, you're doing posting current stuff. This is how you speak. You have a little bit of thought leadership capability. So the blog serves a lot of different reasons on your website, let alone the fact that everybody has in their mind that we want people to find me on Google, and we'll say Bing as well, because it's like 10, 15% of the market, at least here in Canada. It's quite big. And so that content supports that kind of discovery, especially as you dig into the different nuances and questions and answers and challenges that people have. Writing a blog allows you to explore that in your marketplace a little bit more, which allows you to be found a little bit more. So there's a lot of good reasons for it to be on your blog and a lot of good reasons for it to be on LinkedIn. I would actually choose both. The other thing is, when you write a blog post and then you share it as a post, not a purely written article on LinkedIn, but as a post on LinkedIn, people to fully read it can often, you can have them go to your website, and now you've got a little bit more of a captive audience, and you can talk about different things and what you're all about at that point.
Quick thing I want to add here, because it is pretty important, and this is definitely more of an issue on LinkedIn than, say, Facebook. LinkedIn has a very restrictive character count. And so there's a very limited amount you could actually post to LinkedIn. So typically what we would do then is put a bit of a synopsis or a summary and then link back to the blog for the full article.
Yes. And then we were actually doing some LinkedIn stuff for a client the other day, and I was like, what you want to happen if you are doing that linking out is give something right in the article that the person can pull on and really get a sense of it. But you want to have a reason for the person to continue, right? Not a, you know, a clickbaity reason type thing, but an actual, this is what will happen if you continue reading this post or this article. This is what you're going to get. So you might have like headlines from like a survey or a study or something that you did. And then if you click to find more details in depth on also what happened in these other situations, and you say that sort of thing, there's got to be a reason to pull them in. If you could say everything in that LinkedIn post, make it a LinkedIn post. Don't say it and then try to get them to click and then have them basically get the same thing as they just would have gotten on LinkedIn. Like, just really respect that person's journey, because otherwise they're just going to roll their eyes and just stop paying attention to you. All right, so that's that one.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So I really like this question from Justin. Oh, and a quick shout out to Richard, who's watching us today.
Dude, we answered your question, Richard.
Thanks for the question.
Yes.
Question from Justin. How do I grow when I am having technical challenges?
Okay. This is going to be a bit of a mindset one. So that's the thing with so much marketing and advertising and growth activities in today's world, is it becomes technical. How do I do advertising on Facebook and blog and all this other stuff? Like, and there's a lot, like there's a ridiculous amount. So how do you grow when you're having technical challenges? So first of all, my experience with most small business owners is when the technical challenges start to hit, they're like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. This actually happened recently.
Eject.
Literally this past week, we were working with a client, and we needed them to do some LinkedIn stuff and all that stuff. And the person at the end of it was like, I'm out. I can grow my business with word of mouth. It's how I've done it. It works for me. I do not want to do this anymore, right? Technical challenges. That's what's happening there. Frustration. And I get that it's like really, really super challenging sometimes. So I have a few ideas on how to deal with the technical challenges, but I think the number one thing is to just, one, go at a pace that you feel you can handle. Recognize that this is going to be learning in a way that if you haven't been doing it, there's a good reason. You like doing the thing that you're doing. You don't like doing the thing that you're not doing, usually is the case. You've probably tried it a little bit. It's like, this is really confusing. So realize that might be a little bit of a longer journey, but then step back and decide, is this important for my business? If it's not, just don't do it. But if it is, then realize you're going to have to continuously chip away at that. And it might take some time. The other thing is ask questions, like literally reach out to people. I need help with this. It could be a professional relationship where it's a, paid and all that type of stuff. That's one way. If you're growing your business, you might decide, I need to find somebody who's going to do this for me. So you have to start thinking, how do I solve this problem is the question. That's probably the best question is ask yourself, how do I get past this? And then let your brain answer. One of the things is probably going to, other than asking us, is probably going to be reaching out to somebody, maybe paying them. And then the other thing is Google. Everybody else has had the same problem that you've had. Like literally say, this is what's happening. I Google all the time. Every time there's like, this is not working the way I want it to, I go out and I Google it. Whatever the technical challenge happens to be. The trackpad on this laptop stopped working properly 2 days after I bought it. I had a technical challenge. Now, I asked Rich, hey, this is happening. And what did he do? He didn't say, hey, I know what to do. He said, he Googled it and he said, yeah, that happens with that particular laptop. It comes and it goes a little bit. Try this, then give me an answer. So Google the problem that you're having and then start to sift through some of the answers on that. Quite often you can just get it like that. But mostly because I actually think about technical challenges a little bit like a horse when they're going down a street. You know how they put blinders on?
I was gonna say, where is this going?
With a horse, they put if you've got like a police horse on a downtown street, they have these blinders on,
so they can only see forward.
Yes, because there's just way too much stuff happening, and that's what happens with technical challenges. That's what happens with if you're very new to this, and maybe it's not really what you're feeling. Is you've got so many possibilities and options around you. And because you have so many possibilities and options around you, like, do I go there? Do I go there? What do I do here? Do I sit? And it becomes confusing. So just put the blinders on yourself. Say, I'm just going to do this. And it may not make sense. It may not work, but I'm learning something here, even if it feels like I'm not learning something, including you're learning that this didn't work. And if it feels like it's a little bit too much, take a breather without saying, I'm not going to do it, if it's important for your business. All right. That's how I would deal with technical challenges.
So we got a live one. We got a live question.
Okay. Yes, go for
it. Big shout out to Patricia for reaching out with the question. How come a domain is disconnected from a website?
Oh, beautiful question.
I like this one.
Yeah, so good. You want to give it a shot or shall I go?
I'll leave this one up to your expertise.
All right. Okay. So quite often a domain is connected and overlapped with what a website is. So people think they're kind of the same. It's a common thought, and people kind of know maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Okay. So let's just go very quickly through what a domain name is. Most people will say, okay, Kobayashi.ca, www.kobayashi.ca. They think, oh, www.kobayashi.ca is a domain name. It isn't. The Kobayashi.ca part itself is a domain name. And what a domain name is essentially there to do is allow some sort of communication between one computer and another without having to use a big long number that is called an IP address. So my computer or a server, like a computer that's sitting out there to do stuff, has an IP address of 192.168. Whatever. That's actually not, but 214. Like this. It's called an IP address, and it's a long number, and they're getting even longer because there's more and more and more systems being put on the internet, and the original IP address length was not enough, so they had to make it far more bigger. So it's getting different, right? So that IP address. So in order for me to connect with the website that is for Kobayashi.ca, I need not to be able to say to, hey, everybody, go to 265.764.21.222. And everybody's like, how am I supposed to remember that? I'm not a computer. So you have this thing called a domain name, which makes it easier for us to say to Arthur, go to Kobayashi, Kobayashi.ca, and that will take you to some sort of computer. Now, the reason why it's disconnected from a website is because a domain name can get you to many different computers for many different reasons. So, Kobayashi.ca, if you put that http://kobayashi.ca ahead of it, will take you to a computer that has my website. The http:// is what they call a protocol. It stands for something, and I won't get into it now. But that's basically saying the part of it is hypertext. Actually, hypertext transfer protocol. There you go. So what that's doing is saying, I want to go to the computer that has Kobayashi.ca, wherever Kobayashi.ca is pointing to, and I want the HTTP stuff from there, which is the website stuff. Now, if you put www.kobayashi.ca and you still have HTTP there, then that is also the website stuff because it's still got that HTTP, right? But you also know that domain names can be email addresses too. So I can have hello@kobayashi.ca. And when you do that and you send it via a certain kind of protocol, again, not HTTP, but a different kind of protocol that talks about now it's going to be a mail transfer, it can go to a different computer. In fact, in many cases, it does. Ours does. It goes to a different computer. And it does the email thing. And there's a lot of different things you can do with that. So your domain name isn't your website. It is one computer. The domain name will allow the people to point to one computer that has your website and do certain website things. You can use it in a different way to point to another computer that does email things. You can actually have many websites with one domain name. So quite often people will do something like HTTP, that's the domain, that's the website thing, blog.kobayashi.ca. That's not how we do it. And that might have our main website is on this computer, this server, and blog. Is way over here. This is a common thing to do on something like HubSpot, a different computer, because I want to do HubSpot type stuff over here. So they kind of separate those two. So that's the reason why those two are disconnected, because you can have a whole bunch of different things happening with that one domain name, and they might be going to a whole bunch of different computers and for different reasons. Sometimes people do virtual private networks for their business. Sometimes people might have part of that domain name pointing to a computer that connects to a business computer that allows people to actually connect right to the office from home. That's a very common thing. So there's a ton, like it's almost infinite. There's a ton of different things that you use this domain name for. Not just the website. It's just that the website is such the most prominent, website and email, but those are the most prominent things that a domain name's used for. Which is why I'm just going to say one last super important tip. It is so important that you, every single person out there, you own your domain name and you don't have some computer geek web agency person that registered it for you and has it on their domain, on their Yeah, Rich is like coming over to me, big thumbs up. Let me put it this way. You don't own your domain name. You don't pay for it directly. You can't log in and actually check your, with your own username and password independent from everybody else. Then you actually don't own your website. You don't own your email. You don't own anything. And one day, and this has happened to many of our clients, past clients, people that we've dealt with, you might not be able to have that domain name anymore. And all of that asset that you've built with that, all the email communications, all the past clients, all the website stuff is going to have to be torn to the ground, and you have to start again. This is what happened, quite frankly. Maybe you're using gmail.com as your email address. You think, well, Google's going to be around forever. Everybody thought the same when Rogers had people doing home.com. Like there used to be, I could be Brent Kobayashi at home.com. And so many businesses use that as their email address. People are doing that with Gmail right now and Hotmail right now. But guess what? Home.com, the big thing, it was such a big company used by Rogers and many other cable companies, tanked. And everybody who had it on the side of their trucks and used it for communications, they didn't own their domain name. They did not own home.com. They lost it. So yes, thanks for the question about the domain name disconnection from website. But the real thing here is if you don't own your stuff, your domain name, your Google Analytics account, your Facebook business manager, your LinkedIn account. Just the other day, somebody was like, I don't actually have access to my LinkedIn company page. Some person who worked for me ages ago did it. I have no freaking idea. You don't own it anymore. You just lost it. Or you're going to have to go through a lot of pain. Like we've literally charged people $600, $700, $800, $900 just to get what they should own. I mean, and pull it out of somebody else's, hands that they're just pissed off maybe. And maybe there's a good reason for them to be pissed off, but you never, ever want to be in that situation when you don't have to be. So immediately, right now, take an audit of all the different things you want. Now, let me just go through my head, okay? This is so important. I got to get through this. Your domain name, number one. You got full access to it. Your web hosting account, your email hosting account, number one. You have admin access to that. And if anybody else have, they're secondary, right? You've got control of that. Your Google Analytics account, you need to have that. Your Google AdWords account, you need to have that. Your Google Search Console, a little bit less important, but it's good to have. Your LinkedIn admin, your LinkedIn company page, you need to be an administrator on that. Your Facebook business page, you need to be an administrator on that. I mean, everything else, but those are the really top ones. Anything that I'm missing, Arthur?
Well, so I did have a little analogy came to my head while you were talking.
Yeah, go for it.
And let me know if this sounds about right. But to the question about like the difference between a domain and a website, if you think of a car, right? Let's pretend the car is like the website, right? It's the nice shiny looking thing that you can show off to everybody, right? But the license plate is like the domain, and that's kind of the identifier that identifies that specific car. And it's those two pieces working together, but that they're not one and the same.
Yeah, okay. And you can, yeah, okay. That's a good one for the website portion. However, it loses it when you're talking about, well, what about the email part of it and this part of that and that part of it? Something. Nope. Yep. Nope. I think we got to work on that analogy.
We got to work on it.
But
I just got a call from Hyderabad, India. I think it's Google trying to reach me.
Oh, okay. You got to go.
We got to go.
Okay. You got to solve Google problems. So off you go. That's fine. It's time to wrap up anyways.
I got the bat signal.
Okay. Richard, you talked about writing an article about this 10 years ago. If you have a link to it, please post it in the comments so that other people can get this. It's super, super important. Yes, I know that, listen, web designers sometimes do this on purpose. Sometimes they do it just because it's an easy thing to do, because talking about what our second question, that, business owners are technically having frustrations, and you're sitting there, I need you to register this domain name for yourself on GoDaddy, and it doesn't happen. So I might as well just do it myself. And so there are reasons for this to kind of, not nefariously happen. But that's where, quite frankly, as a business owner, you have to step up and own your shit. And that is one of your shits. Got it? Okay, it's super important. Don't just sort of abdicate this one thing. Domain name especially. That's like the big one. All right.
Beauty.
Sweet. Beauty. Okay, you need to go. I'm going to do the wrapping up thing. You can jump off if you need to. Oh my gosh.
Peace out.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
Thank you for joining us on episode 90. 90. Holy moly, we are getting close to triple digits. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to get into more stuff, more COVID marketing, more helping you survive and to thrive. Talk to you soon. Take care. And I am the one that's going to be going in. Cut it. And Arthur, you got to cut it. You're actually the one who's controlling this. Arthur, are you there? Hello? Arthur? Oh, no. Well, this is going to go on for a long time because he's the one that has to do the cutting. I'm going to leave this meeting and you guys are just going to be staring at nothing. Love you greatly. You're awesome. Bye-bye.